Boleh.
Okay, so, okay, thank you. Okay. Apa ni? Today kita akan buat kelas secara online. Hari Jumaat nanti maybe kita akan buat face to face ataupun you all prefer online. Nanti kita akan tengok nanti sampai I nak tengok how much I can cover today lah. Okay, sebab I try to finish tajuk topik chapter 4. That one adalah ethics for professional accountant. So kita juga akan habiskan by this week. Sebab by next week kita akan masuk new topic which is corporate social responsibility lah. Maybe untuk 2-3 minggu ni, I akan bagi lecture saja kat you all, and the tutorial I will combine a few topics untuk kita buat tutorial later on, okay? The reasons why, because dia punya, this topic, dia punya, dalam soalan exam, dia akan keluar here and there sikit-sikit. Okay, so I rasa kalau kita combinekan 2-3 topik ni, so that kita akan discuss sekaligus lah untuk tutorial nanti, so we can save time and then lagi cepatlah kita boleh discuss the questions, okay? Shall we start? So how about your test hari tu? Okay tak? Boleh jawab?
Okey lah madam.
Okey lah, boleh lah.
Boleh faham konsep lah kan? Okay ya. So I pun tak tengok lagi your paper. I think maybe masa cuti panjang nantilah baru I start mark the paper sebab lately ni memang busy sikit. Kemudian I nak discuss untuk next week sebab next week I ada meeting dalam 12.30. 2.30 is meaning that I will be macam hari Selasa tu I akan ada kelas 6 jam dengan you all and 2 jam tu will be meeting macam non-stop lah juga. Sebab sekarang kita tengah ada one project and then dia banyak ambil slot pada hari Selasa. Nanti I discuss dengan you all kalau maybe two of the groups, maybe some of the group I akan buat secara physical and then maybe another group. Okay, shall we start the class? Boleh ya? I start dulu kelas hari ni. Ada Okay, basically kita dah habis the first part of this paper ya. So this paper dia cover dua area. Satu adalah more on ethical point of view, dari segi conventional point of view as well as Islamic point of view, as well as ethics in work ethics environment lah. Okay, the second part of this paper kita akan tengok kepada more on the company punya ethical value yang modern point of view ya. So dalam this topic, the second part of the paper, some of it you already cover dalam paper audit, and some of it sebab I dulu pernah mengajar CRG 660. You akan cover dalam paper CRG 660 lah. I think CRG 660 adalah yang akan ambil next semester. Next semester adalah paper you apa berapa sekarang ni? Lupa.
Part 6 madam.
You all bukan you all dah ambil elective paper ke?
Belum, not yet. Next sem.
You all part berapa sekarang kelas? Susah lah you all saru-saru tak ada.
Part 6
Oh, you all
madam.
part 6 kan? Am I right? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes madam, dengar madam. Madam dengar kita orang tak?
Boleh dengar ke I cakap kelas? Hello, Assalamualaikum. Boleh dengar ke? Oh, budak-budak ni.
Boleh madam.
Okay, you dengar ya? Okay, clear, okay? Oh, okay. You all dengar I yang tak dengar you all ya? I'm not Okay, sorry kelas ya. So, I tak tahu kenapa dia macam keluar and then I nak masuk balik susah sangat. All of you can hear me, right? Could you please reply dekat sini kalau I dekat phone, dekat Telegram? Sebab I tak dengar you all cakap. Kalau you all bercakap.
Boleh, madam.
Boleh dengar ya? Okay.
Ah, ah.
So if there is a case, I terus start kelas ya. Sebab I takut nanti tak habis. Okay, kejap. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I cuba masuk tadi dia macam dia kejap masuk keluar macam tu. Kejap ya, I hope everything dah okay. Sekejap ya kelas ya. Can you see the slide class? Boleh nampak slide?
Boleh, madam. Nampak, madam.
Boleh ya, okay. Okay, today kita akan tengok professional and business ethic, the accountant and the organisation. Sebenarnya accountant ni dia ada part of dia macam juga dengan sekarang ni you ada ambil paper audit 689 ya. So basically accountant ni adalah auditor adalah part of the accountant. Katakanlah bahawa here adalah accountant, ini adalah accountant, okay, the whole view. Auditor adalah part of the accountants lah. Tapi tak semua accountants we call them as auditors, okay. This topic dia macam banyak lengthy sangat dia punya subtopic, tetapi dia sikit-sikit. So you kena tahu all those things lah. Okay. Macam juga macam kalau auditor kita ada MIA by law, accountant pun juga kita ada code of ethics ya. And the code of ethics for accountant we call it as IFAC lah. IFAC, okay, IFAC. And then this IFAC juga kena need to be used by the auditors. Jadi auditors ni dia ada normally when they conduct the audit as auditor, they need to follow MIA by law lah. But at the same time, they also act as an accountant. So bila he acts as an accountant, he need to follow the requirement of IFAC, okay? So untuk this topic, kita ada 4 subtopic. So the first one adalah, kita akan tengok professional accountant in the public interest, the corporate and professional code of ethics, okay? Professional code of ethics kita ada adalah IFAC lah, okay? International Federation of Accountants, okay? Kemudian kita ada accountability in organization, and then kita ada ethics in data usage and technology. This one later on I will share separate subtopic kepada you all nanti. Okay, these are the outcome of the topic. Mula-mula kita akan tengok modern governance and accountability framework, the threat. Sebab kadang-kadang dalam this governance, so there are a few things that do and don't. Okay, sebagai auditor, kita ada guideline. Ataupun sebagai accountant, we have the guideline. What are the things that we can do and what are the things that we cannot do, okay? Kadang-kadang untuk kita follow that guideline, kita ada some track lah. Dia macam accountant juga, macam auditor jugalah ya. Macam auditor, you need to fulfill the requirements of MIA by law. You kena follow the fundamental principle, macam objectivity, integrity, apa lagi ya? Objectivity, integrity, professional behavior, confidentiality, and ada one more, okay? So those are the fundamental principle that you need to follow, okay? Dan kadang-kadang bila you nak follow that fundamental principle, that there are some threat that you might face, okay? Sama lah juga dengan accountant pun, bila kita nak follow kita punya ethical value, there are some threat that we might face lah, okay? Kemudian kita akan tengok explain the key elements in corporate governance. Kemudian kita akan tengok code of conduct. Code of conduct adalah IFAC lah, okay. Kemudian data usage, ethic of the data usage. That one I give, kat sini ada nota a little big notes on the ethics of data usage. Later on, I will share some additional material untuk you on ethics of data usage, okay. Kemudian kita nak tengok what is profession. Apa maksud profession? Because tak semua career ataupun tak semua kerja yang kita buat as professional line. Cuma certain area saja we call it as professional line lah. For the example like accountant kita panggil professional line, okay. On top of it kita juga ada macam medical line, doctors, engineer, architects, okay. Those are the area ataupun the career that being considered as professional, okay. Kemudian kita describe the role of professional accountant. Sebagai professional accountant, what are the things, what do we expect daripada you? Apa yang company expect daripada you and apa yang shareholders and other stakeholder expect from you as an accountant, okay. Kemudian kita akan tengok explain public expectation of the professional accountant. That one adalah apa yang public expect daripada you sebagai accountant lah. Dan kalau you belajar dalam audit, kita ada expectation gap. Expectation gap adalah the gap between what we believe on our responsibility as an auditor and apa yang public expect from us as an auditors. That one we call it as the expectation gap. Okay. Kemudian kita akan distinguish between ethical value in account point of view lah, okay? In accounting point of view lah. Kemudian kita akan describe the concept, the difference between duty, loyalty, trust and fiduciary duty. Kemudian explain the meaning of professional code of ethics and conduct. Describe the fundamental principle of the code of ethics. This one you kena baca lah. You can just have a look. You punya IFEC, just have a look. What are the things yang ada dalam IFEC? Kemudian kita akan explain the IFEC code of ethics. Kemudian explain the meaning of corporate code. Untuk setiap company, they have to come out with dia punya code of ethics sendiri. Tetapi this is not compulsory ya. That one adalah voluntary. So company A, they might have dia punya code of ethics. Company B, they might have their own code of ethics ya. Kadang-kadang code of ethics ni depending kepada banyak factors, okay. Macam kadang-kadang depending on certain industry, they might have similar code of ethics. For the example like banking industry, dia punya code of ethics between bank A, bank B, bank C, ada some elements which is considered as similar lah. Ataupun kadang-kadang code of ethics juga sebab dia berkait rapat dengan culture ya, dia depending kepada which country. Kadang-kadang kalau you kerja later on, you akan tengok ya code of ethics in Japanese companies. Okay, dia punya code of ethics dia is quite similar lah. Kalau you pergi kepada Germany company pun, they have their own, ada some of it lah similarity in term of dia punya code of ethics ya. Kalau you pergi kerja dekat Dubai ke dekat Middle East country pun, dia punya code of ethics pun ada some similarities lah, tetapi tak sama ya, sebab setiap company they have to come out with their own code of ethics, okay. Kemudian kita akan tengok different types of conflict that might be faced by accountant. Boleh faham kelas so far apa yang kita nak cover untuk this topic? Dia nampak banyak tapi sebenarnya dia sikit-sikit saja sebenarnya ya. Now kita tengok ada modern governance and accountability. Okay, this one adalah governance and accountability. This one you akan belajar detail dalam paper CRG 660 next semester lah ya. Here we start dengan our BOD. Board of directors, they are responsible kepada shareholder. It's not only to the shareholders tetapi as well as to the stakeholders. Okay. Sebagai board of the directors, you also responsible to come out with the governance committee. Governance committee meaning that you mesti ada satu committee to ensure that when you run the business, you follow rules and regulation lah. Ataupun you follow the requirement of higher authority. For the example like you mesti ada company secretary yang akan monitor you punya memorandum and article of association, the way you conduct meeting betul ke tak, okay. You kena ada statutory books, you kena simpan the statutory books and so on, okay. Then at the same time you also have to set up the compensation committee, okay. Tugas compensation committee adalah to determine how much salary that need to be paid, especially at the managerial level. For example, like say, kita nak appoint a new CFO. Berapakah gaji yang kita nak bayar untuk that new CFO? Sebab you kena study other market juga. Dekat market ataupun dekat competitors, how much they pay
for CFO, COO, CEO and so on. Okay. And at the same time, board of directors juga, they need to form the audit committee. Okay, audit committee dia punya responsibility adalah macam auditor, internal and external auditor. If there is any query ataupun ada problems dekat their company, they don't go directly kepada BOD ya. They will go melalui audit committee, and audit committee akan highlight these matters kepada BOD. Dan audit committee, they also have the rights to instruct BOD to do certain changes lah. Sebab dalam company dia punya what do we call dia punya organization chart macam ni ya. Chairman, kemudian kat sini kita ada BOD. Okay, so kat sini kita ada audit committee. Audit committee they have to be independent. Okay. Yang lain-lain CEO, CFO semuanya ada kat bawah-bawah sini lah ya. Dan termasuklah juga internal auditor, external auditor, risk management department and so on. Okay. Tetapi untuk risk management department, internal auditor and external auditor, they do not report kepada BOD ya. Dia akan terus report kepada audit committee. Faham ya kelas ya? Dia punya how do we report? To whom should we report? Okay, boleh ya kelas ya? So at the same time, the company also need to appoint senior management. So kita akan appoint CEO, CFO, COO and so on lah. So untuk senior management ni lah yang kita kena ada compensation committee ya. This compensation committee adalah we need to determine berapa banyak salary or benefit that we need to pay to the senior management. Okay, sebab kita nak kita punya company adalah macam kita boleh bayar fair amount to our top management. Okay, and at the same time kita juga kena ada whistleblower program. Meaning that kita kena ada satu channel. Kalau dekat UiTM kita panggil sebagai unit integrity ya. Tetapi untuk big company dia mesti ada one department, normally bawah HR department ya. They call it as the whistleblower program. Meaning that you ada channel untuk you voice up your idea. Tapi kalau you rasa ada something wrong berlaku dekat company, you have proper channel how to raise the issue. Okay, sama lah juga ya. Untuk this whistleblower program, they will go ataupun they will report directly kepada audit committee. Okay. Next one, kita akan tengok the function of the directors. Okay. Sebagai directors, you punya main function adalah you need to safeguard the interest of the shareholder. Sebab kita nak jaga shareholders lah. We try to maximize the shareholders' wealth. Walaupun sekarang ni kita kata kita tak saja fokus kepada shareholders tetapi we also need to fokus kepada other stakeholders. Tetapi whatever is it, you punya main point ataupun you punya main responsibility adalah kepada shareholders because they are the owner of the company. Faham ya kelas ya? Am I too fast? I rasa I cakap laju sikit sebab dah start lambat tadi kan. Okay, kemudian sebagai directors, you also need responsible untuk buat strategic planning. Okay, strategic plan, you kena come out dengan future plan, short term plan as well as the short-term plan as well as the long-term plan. Dan sebagai audit directors juga, you are responsible to come out with the policy and procedures. Dalam business strategy ni lah, jugalah you kena ada, setiap company ya, you kena ada policy. So you top management ya, you kena ada policy, you kena have to come out dengan procedures, okay? Dan juga you have to come out with the company philosophy. You kena tunjukkan direction of the company. At the end of the day, what do you want to achieve, okay? As a whole for the company. Ya. Kemudian you also need to select the senior executive and then you need to determine how much is the benefit that you need to pay to them. Okay. Sebagai directors juga, you need to evaluate the internal control system. You need to establish internal control system and ensure that our internal control system is sufficient. Kita guna perkataan adequate internal control system. Kenapa kita guna perkataan adequate internal control system? Sebab internal control system ni kalau situation berubah, kadang-kadang you punya existing internal control system is not sufficient anymore, tak cukup lagi lah kan, it's not appropriate anymore. So we need to update ataupun we need to revise our internal control system from time to time. Okay, sebagai directors juga you kena come out nominate the external auditor. You need to appoint, bukanlah you yang appoint the internal external auditor ya, tetapi you kena cari external auditor to be appointed during AGM. Okay, kemudian you also macam kat sini dia bagi macam for the example like you need to recommend the company's external auditor for election by the shareholders during AGM. Okay, kemudian sebagai directors you also need to monitor the company punya performance lah. Okay, kena ada risk assessment, kena study company performance, kena buat analysis of the company performance and then come out with the new strategy. Dan kalau ada masalah, you have to come out with the mitigating plan on how to reduce the problem. Okay. And sebagai directors, you also need to ensure the following lah ya. Satu adalah the company ada good internal control system. Good internal control system, good internal audit department. Internal audit department adalah mandatory for the company to have the internal audit department. Okay, especially untuk PIA lah. Okay, kemudian kita kena ensure that kita ada effective whistleblower system. Okay, you mesti sediakan ruang yang cukup kepada your staff. Kalau dia nak blow the whistle, they have channel to blow the whistle. Sebab kita tak nak nanti dia just macam spread the news dekat online, dekat social media and so on. Kita mesti provide proper channel to our staff kalau dia rasa they need to blow the whistle. You faham ke whistleblower ya? Macam kalau you discover ada something wrong dekat that company and then you nak report kepada top management. Okay, so kita kena ada proper system on it, and this whistleblower system they need to report directly kepada audit committee. Kenapa? Audit committee they are more independent as compared to the board of the directors, because audit committee they do not involve in day-to-day transaction ataupun dia tak involve dalam day-to-day activities lah. Okay, sebagai directors, you juga kena ensure that the company should establish risk management department. You kena ada internal auditor, you kena ensure that the company tu kena ada satu internal auditor, external auditor, dan juga kena ada risk management department dan juga whistleblower. Okay, dan sebagai directors, you also need to ensure that the company have effective of ethical corporate culture. You kena design code of ethic for your company. Then you have to ensure that this staff follow the code of ethics. Boleh faham so far kelas?
Boleh faham, Madam.
Boleh.
Okay, apa yang kita expect daripada directors ya? Daripada directors, the first one adalah we do expect that you fulfill the fiduciary duties lah. For the example, when you make the decision adalah for the best interest of the shareholder as well as of the stakeholder. Jangan buat decision just for popularity ataupun jangan buat decision just untuk dapat like ataupun untuk dapat whatsoever reason lah. Okay. Next one adalah you should be loyal to the company. Okay, the reasons why you kena loyal kepada company because you are the staff of the shareholders. That's why kita panggil sebagai agency theory. So basically shareholders, they are the one yang appoint you sebagai directors to run the business. So you should be loyal kepada company as well as to the shareholders lah. So wherever that the things that you buat mestilah good faith, obedience to the interest of all. Kemudian you have to demonstrate due care, diligence and skill. Due care meaning that you mestilah competent. Okay, bukan saja competence, you mesti ada courtesy, you mesti ada rasa responsibility kepada shareholders dan whatever yang you buat mesti ada proper documentation dan mesti properly organized. Okay, so if there is any conflict, katakanlah bahawa you jadi director of the company, then you ada interest over the company, personal interest over the company. So what you need to do adalah you need to disclose it. For the example, katakanlah bahawa company tu adalah construction company, buat rumah. Okay, so untuk staff dia bagi 20% discount. So you purchase the house daripada that company. So you need to disclose it. You kena disclose dalam BOD meeting that you purchase the house maybe for you as well as for your kids. For the example lah, okay. Ataupun maybe this company, katakanlah bahawa you are the directors of this company, company A, and at the same time you also have your own business X, okay, X Berhad, and then you purchase the material daripada X Berhad. So under that situation also, you need to disclose it to the board of the directors. That one you akan belajar detail dalam paper CRG 660 later on lah ya. So what is your liability? Sebagai directors, your liability adalah business judgment rules. Okay? So you have to prove that bila whatever decision yang you buat for the best interest of the company. Okay, operation remedy. Kalau you belajar dalam paper audit, dalam tajuk legal liability, you ada cover legal liability right class? Kan dah cover kan tajuk legal liability?
Ya.
Ya, you duk belajar kes-kes dah kan? You nampak tak dia ada satu term dia guna perkataan contributory negligence.
Ya. Ada madam.
Ada kan? Meaning that kalau contributory negligence, if there is something happen to the company, kadang-kadang auditor bingsu kan, ada auditor guilty, so auditor can ask the client ataupun the board of directors to contribute some of it lah, okay. Kemudian kita juga boleh ambil action kepada directors under tort. Under tort adalah there are two factors yang menyebabkan tort adalah satu adalah fraud and another one adalah due to the negligence. You also can sue shareholders, investor ataupun other third party. Selain daripada you nak sue auditor, you juga boleh sue board of the directors under negligence. Okay. Okay, now kita tengok this one adalah the type of the stakeholder. I'm sure you dah tahu lah benda ni ya. Stakeholder adalah you are accountable kepada shareholders, employee, customer, supplier, activists, okay, public governance, government, creditors, lenders as well as others. Okay. Stakeholder accountability oriented governance process. Okay. So what do we have here? Kita ada shareholders and stakeholder. Basically, sebagai board of directors, you are accountable kepada shareholders as well as the stakeholders. This is your accountability lah. At the end of the day, what are you supposed to do adalah you need to prepare or you have to ensure that the company be able to prepare audited financial statement kepada shareholders as well as the other stakeholders lah. Kemudian you have to come out dengan strategy including ethicals and legal. Sebagai board of directors, you punya responsibility adalah you have to come out dengan vision, mission, strategic, policy, codes, compliance, feedback as well as compensation, and at the same time you need to appoint the CEO as well as the CFO. Itu adalah antara board of the directors and the stakeholders. Okay. And at the same time, you also need to appoint the external auditor. External auditor akan report kepada audit committee and later on kepada BOD, and external auditors juga akan report directly kepada shareholders of the company. Okay. Untuk corporate culture, sebagai BOD directors, it is your responsibility to come out with the guidance. SOP, standard of procedures, job scope. Okay, macam mana you nak dapatkan guidance ni? Normally you kena establish a good internal control system. You kena design a good internal control system so that people dalam that company, bila dia bekerja, they follow they have proper system ataupun they follow the ICS lah. So dalam corporate culture, apa yang kita ada adalah normally kat sini accountant and so on ada kat sini lah ya. So at the end of the day, the accountant will prepare the financial statement. And this financial statement need to be audited by auditor. And at the same time, professional accountant termasuklah juga internal auditor lah. Internal auditor, you punya responsibility adalah you kena review internal control system from time to time. Okay? Dan kemudian you kena bagi feedback on the internal control system dan buat report lah kalau ada yang tak follow di ICS. Dan macam I mention tadi ya, for each company, you kena ada satu whistleblower program. Okay? So untuk whistleblower program, macam katakanlah bahawa you staff, you discover something happen dekat company tu, salah ya kalau you terus disclose dekat, you masukkan dalam social media ya, the company can take legal action against you. Kalau company tu dah ada whistleblower program. Jadi kalau company tu dah ada whistleblower program, you need to follow the whistleblower program. So dia ada provide channel untuk you to blow the whistle kan? Tetapi you tak follow that channel, so the company can take legal action against you. So you have to be very careful bila you kerja esok-esok lah ya. Unless kalau company tu dia tak ada whistleblower program ataupun dia ada tetapi tak efektif dan you dah cuba banyak kali but not success. So under that situation, maybe you can go to the next step lah. Tetapi you kena ingat ya, always dapatkan nasihat daripada lawyer just in case the company take legal action against you. Okay. At the same time, the company juga kena ada lawyer to advise the BOD on certain matters. Okay. Sebab kadang-kadang because kalau dekat big company ya, banyak rules, regulation yang you kena follow. So we need to ensure that we follow all rules and regulation lah. Okay. This one adalah stakeholder interest, ranking, risk assessment and usage ya. So our stakeholder kat sini, okay. So basically here our stakeholder, the interest corporate risk assessment. So the corporate risk assessment, what we need to do adalah ini adalah risk management department ya kelas ya. So they need to identify the stakeholder. The stakeholder ni you kena rankkan dia. Siapa yang the priority kat mana yang you kena bagi ya. Kemudian kita akan integrate into corporate value and system and action lah. So kat sini they need to report kepada BOD. Okay, so BOD macam tadi, this one adalah the function of BOD and BOD accountable kepada shareholders as well as the stakeholder. And at the same time, BOD need to provide guideline kepada employee. So dalam corporate culture, the first thing adalah action, motivation, belief. At the end of the day, kalau you rasa you dah bagi good, you dah treat your staff properly, ada proper code of ethics, okay? So you akan jadikan your staff ni adalah orang yang high integrity and orang yang ada good value. That's why bila you kerja esok kan, you akan nampak ya, this person A, B and C, they have different value bila dia bekerja di bawah different company. Sebab kalau some company dia akan fokus kepada developing the value of the employees, okay? So bila you dah boleh develop good value dekat your employees akan loyal kepada company. So tak adalah dia macam nak jump from one job to another job kan. Sebab dia rasa dah company tu dah bagi fair treatment kepada dia in term of bonus, in term of remuneration and so on. So dia enjoy work kat situ dan dia rasa dia nampak prospect dekat that company dan dia nampak dia punya direction in the company. Okay, yang paling penting adalah kita nak develop ataupun kita nak create good value among our employees. Bukan sekerja senang ya, tetapi sebenarnya boleh dibuat. Okay. Okay, next one kita akan accountability. Kadang-kadang kita nak follow good governance, kita nak be accountable, okay? Tetapi ada threat yang menyebabkan we not be able to do it. We might have problem to fulfill the requirements, okay? The first one adalah misunderstanding objective. You tak faham objektif ataupun you misunderstand the objektif. Dan kadang-kadang this one juga berlaku sebab top management pun dia tak clear dia punya direction. Kejap dia nak buat benda ni, kejap dia nak buat benda ni. Kadang-kadang bila dia buat decision, dia punya decision contradict dengan decision A and decision B, okay? Another one adalah fiduciary duties, okay? For the example, like you act for your own personal interest. Okay, you sebagai accountant ataupun you sebagai top management kat situ, bila you buat apa-apa decision, you buat decision yang you rasa is will give more benefit kepada you lah. Okay, kemudian failure to identify and manage the risk. Okay, you dah ada accounts department, you dah ada risk management department, am I right? Tetapi risk management department fail to fulfill dia punya responsibility lah. So kalau dia fail to fulfill dia punya responsibility, so these are the things that may impact kepada company. For the example, it will create bad reputation over the company, it will affect you punya asset, revenue, cost, performance, as well as it will reduce the share price of the company. Okay, macam mana boleh berlakunya risk? Banyak factors yang boleh berlakunya risk, okay? Kalau macam auditor point of view, bila kita evaluate risk, kita akan tengok dari segi inherent risk, control risk and detection risk, okay? Tetapi bagi company, for accountant point of view, the factors that contribute kepada risk is can be from the internal factors as well as the external factors. And some of it beyond our control, okay? For the example, like due to the environmental, strategi ni you punya strategi yang you buat salah, okay? Or operational ataupun information yang you tak dapat information yang betul. Ataupun kadang-kadang mungkin you dapat information yang betul tetapi you misunderstand the information ataupun you misinterpret the information, okay? Kadang-kadang the degree of control over risk adalah too little. Okay, you tak emphasize so much. Kalau ada external factors ataupun macam bila kita kerja lah kan, bukan later on bila you kerja, you nampak macam ada fraud. Tetapi you report kepada boss, boss kata oh tak apalah, tak banyak pun 300 saja, 200 saja. Dia nampak benda tu adalah small. Tetapi bila kita accumulate, macam you belajar accounting kan, so bila kita accumulate, walaupun benda tu not material per transaction, tetapi when we accumulate, the amount can be quite material lah. Okay, last one adalah due to the poor documentation. Tak ada proper system macam mana nak record all the information. That's why dalam company penting untuk kita wujudkan proper SOP, standard of procedures lah. Kita kena tunjuk clearly siapa yang kena prepare document, authorization come daripada siapa, which department, and then macam mana this document move daripada this department to another department and so on. So kita kena ada proper flow chart lah ya untuk nampak the movement of authorization, bukan the movement of authorization, the movement of document as well as siapa yang should authorize the document, okay? And last one adalah due to the conflict of interest. Kadang-kadang you ada interest over certain transaction, okay? So apa yang kita kena buat kat sini adalah conflict interest, cause of judgment bias, okay? How might judgment be swayed? For the example, like any interest, influence, loyalty, concern and so on, tending to make judgment less reliable than normal. You ada all these things, tetapi maybe our judgment salah. Okay, next one adalah self-interest. For the example of self-interest adalah bribery, gift, special advantage. For the example like you ambil discount ataupun kadang-kadang bahawa company tu nak jual some asset dan you sengaja value the asset at a lower value because you wanted to buy that asset. Katakanlah buah mesin ataupun motor vehicle and so on. Okay, so you ask another company to purchase it and then you get some commission from the transaction. Okay, kemudian special treatment. Okay, you dapat special treatment ataupun dealing with family, relative and relation. For example, macam buat business involve your family members and so on lah. Fraud adalah kalau you belajar dalam audit, fraud tu kita ada dua ya. Satu adalah misappropriation of asset and another one adalah fraudulent financial reporting. Sebenarnya benda yang sama lah juga dekat accountant point of view ya. Satu adalah misappropriation of asset, cheating on expenses account. Okay, benda tu capital expenditure, revenue expenditure. Ataupun bila you claim 2 times. Okay, multiple claims. Okay, kemudian you false the document, stealing cash, asset or resources, ataupun you manipulate you punya KPI, you punya report so that your KPI nampak tinggi and then you get more bonus daripada company ataupun you dapat more promotion daripada company. Ataupun kadang-kadang ada juga berlaku ya cases where kawan you punya kerja but you yang claim as if you yang buat kerja tu, you yang dapat kredit daripada apa yang dibuat oleh other party. Okay, so bila you dapat kredit, you get more promotion as well as you get more increment lah. Okay, next one adalah misunderstanding, confuse signal or incentive. You tak tahu sama ada benda ni insentif yang company bagi ke ataupun outsider bagi kat you ke ataupun maybe sebenarnya that one adalah part of the bribery. Okay, ataupun maybe bos buat, manager you buat, you rasa benda ni salah tapi manager ni asyik buat macam okay je, tak ada masalah pun kan. So you rasa benda tu adalah, you tak sure sama ada benda tu betul ke salah. Sebab you nampak manager A buat, manager B buat, manager C buat. Tapi masa you baru-baru masuk, you rasa benda tu tak boleh dibuat. Sebenarnya benda tu you dah biasa. Kalau higher level, kalau you punya managerial level tak ethical, it's very difficult for us yang bawah ni untuk jadi ethical. Okay, it's very difficult sebenarnya ya. That's why bila you kerja esok-esok, you carilah company yang ada good ethical value. Sebab you akan rasa lebih selesa untuk you kerja dan kurang toxic dalam the company lah. Okay. Kemudian culture differences. Okay. Next one adalah due to the slippery slope. Kadang-kadang you dah you dah buat satu mistake and there is no way for you to turn back. Okay. You kena buat lagi because you takut nanti that person report you kepada top management. Okay. So apa yang kita kena buat if there is any conflict of interest? Number one adalah kita kena ensure awareness. Kita kena ensure that apa-apa yang kita buat, we need to follow code of conduct. Okay. Kemudian macam kalau kita accountant, kita kena follow lah apa yang ada dalam IFAC. Kalau company tu, dalam your company ada code of conduct, you need to follow the code of conduct dalam your company. Okay. Kemudian related initial and ongoing training. So the company need to provide, kena bagi ongoing training kepada staff lah. That's why kena selalu buat meeting, kena selalu buat town hall and so on. Kalau you kerja dekat company, let's say macam Japanese company, Japanese company is quite common untuk diorang buat meeting ataupun buat macam kita macam perhimpunan kat sekolah lah kan. All daripada top management kepada lower level management, diorang akan buat assembly. So every 2 weeks is quite common for them to have it. Okay. They'll just buat half an hour saja untuk normally dia akan buat setiap 2 minggu lah. Kalau untuk some of the Muslim company, for example, maybe boleh buat tazkirah hari Jumaat ke, ataupun maybe boleh buat some activity, okay, where kita bagi motivation kepada our staff and then kita keep remind them about their responsibility, about dia punya bla 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 lah ya, supaya dia follow the code of conduct, okay, supaya our staff tak tersasar daripada why dia join the company. Okay. Kemudian kita kena create a program and understanding. Kita kena create a program kepada staff kita supaya staff kita ni aware ataupun try concern bila dia nak buat apa-apa benda ni ada tak conflict of interest. Okay, macam I lah, kalau I nak buat apa-apa kat student, ada tak conflict of interest? Katakanlah bahawa I nak mengajar luar pada kelas, okay, kemudian I nak charge student. Itu dah ada conflict of interest. Okay, macam some of the cikgu-cikgu kat sekolah kan, cikgu-cikgu kat sekolah dia buat tuition dan dia suruh juga budak-budak tu pergi tuition center dia. Okay, so that the student can get more marks. Itu adalah part of the conflict of interest lah. A major issue for the example like avoidance is preferable. So you try to avoid. Kalau you rasa ada any conflict of interest, akan ada masalah later on, try to avoid it lah. Okay. Slippery slope, kemudian management technique. Okay, for the example apa yang management boleh buat adalah dia kena ada annual sign off, okay, kena ada annual evaluation, confirmation review and compliance. Okay, bagi guideline kepada staff untuk gift and behaviour. Kalau dia nak dapatkan gift daripada klien and so on, boleh, tetapi kita kena bagi guideline kepada diorang. The types of gift that can be accepted. Kalau tiba-tiba waktu nak bagi you iPhone ke, tiba-tiba nak bagi jewellery ke, that one is not acceptable. Kita kena bagilah guideline ya. As long as benda tu tak material dan tak affect you, kerja-kerja you, okay, you're judgmental later on, so that one should be okay. Kita determine sama ada the item is material or not material. Tetapi sama ada benda tu material ke tak material pun dia adalah very subjective. Okay. Kemudian kita boleh buat counselling, reporting, reinforcement. Kemudian kita boleh information barrier. Okay, kita kena scrutinize our staff, kena ada confirmation barrier, kena ada firewalls and so on. Okay. A guideline for acceptance gift or preferential treatment, dia macam juga auditor lah juga ya. Sama ada jumlah tu adalah nominal or substantial, apakah intended purpose, what circumstances. Tiba-tiba every month you dapat hamper, tapi every week you dapat hamper ni, kenapa pula kan? Kalau nak dapat hamper tu maybe on certain occasion saja you might get the hamper, ataupun you dapat voucher maybe on certain occasion saja ya. What is the position of sensitivity of the recipient? Sama ada katakanlah bahawa you ada orang yang proses dia punya claim ataupun proses dia punya, macam kalau supplier kan macam you ada orang yang proses dia punya invoice kan, so supplier tu nak you proses cepat invoice dia. Jadi you punya position adalah sensitif lah under that situation lah. Kemudian kita tengok what is accepted practice. Kadang you juga kena tengok the company policy as well as either it is legal or not to accept the gift. Okay. This one kita dah tengok tadi ya kelas. This one adalah dia lebih kurang sama juga dengan the responsibility of the directors. Ini adalah general responsibility of directors lah ya. Tapi kalau you belajar audit, directors bukan saja ini you punya responsibility ya. Your responsibility juga termasuklah preparing the financial statement, safeguard the asset and record, okay. Kemudian you juga responsible, ni internal control system dah ada kan. Kemudian you also responsible to prevent and to detect fraud and error, okay. Okay, KPMG pada tahun 2013 dia conduct the survey, they call it as integrity survey. Nanti I boleh share dengan you all the outcome of integrity survey. Sebenarnya KPMG kalau tak silap I, every 2 years dia akan conduct the survey. Dan tajuk dia berlainan lah ya. Kadang-kadang dia pernah conduct the survey on fraud. What are the factors contribute kepada fraud, okay? Then dia juga pernah conduct the survey on corporate social responsibility. Memang KPMG dia akan conduct the survey worldwide, okay? Every 2 years, this one adalah part of dia punya responsibility kepada society. Dia punya corporate responsibility to the society lah. Okay, this one adalah some of the outcome yang dia dapat daripada the survey. Nanti I share dengan you all di KPMG Integrity Survey. Okay, next one kita akan tengok organization culture, individual team outcome and organization effectiveness. Okay, so the elements of organization culture, this one adalah dalam company tu mesti ada culture dia. Okay, macam UiTM dengan UKM, dengan USM, walaupun kita in the same industry, higher institution, but we have different culture lah. Okay, macam mana culture ni boleh wujud? Okay, based on the value, narrative, assumptions and so on lah. Okay, so macam mana how do we come out with that culture? Macam mana you nak wujudkan certain culture ataupun certain direction? Okay, mula-mula kita kena ada mission and vision. Macam UiTM pun kita ada misi dan visi UiTM. Okay, kemudian kita kena ada leadership skill. We need to polish the leadership skill, especially at the managerial level. Kemudian kita kena explain about the growth, development, opportunity, team development, kena ada proper communication daripada lower level ke higher level. Ini dah masuk paper management kan, lebih kurang kan. Kemudian performance, how do we evaluate your performance? Macam mana kita setkan you punya KPI, Key Performance Index. What are the things that you need to achieve by end of the year, okay? So you kena faham benda-benda ni ya. Bila staff faham apa yang management nak daripada dia, so it will help them to cooperate dengan company, dan dia akan rasa dia dihargai and dia akan follow apa yang kita minta dia buat. Okay, macam kita minta dia supaya act in ethical way, dia lagi senang lah untuk dia follow our direction. Okay, kemudian kita juga kena ada proper incentive and reward, dan kita juga kena ada proper human resource system. Human resource system ni penting dia kelas ya, bukan saja untuk kita recruit new staff, tetapi juga human resource department ni lah yang akan evaluate your performance. Okay, evaluate your performance and determine sama ada you get promotion or not, dan berapa banyak increment yang you akan dapat lah. Okay, semuanya datanya daripada human resource department. Okay, so bila kita ada these two, so kita akan dapat individual and team outcome. For example, kita akan dapat job satisfaction, organization identification, kita involve dengan kerja-kerja kita tak berkira Okay, kelas. Sorry, I terkeluar tadi ya. Sekejap ya. Tadi I dah cover sampai mana ya? I rasa baru je kan I terkeluarkan. I tak perasan. Sorry ya, kelasnya I tak tahu kenapa internet is so slow. And then I pun macam keluar masuk pula. Before this, I selalu nampak studentnya keluar masuk. Tadi I sampai mana ya kelas?
Sampai organizational culture, madam.
Masa I stop tadi kat mana kelas? Ya, dan?
Sampai sini, madam.
This one start, step ni dah? This slide?
This one dah.
I cover ke dengan you all this slide?
Dah, madam.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Hello? Did I? This one di cover ya. This one I suruh you baca sendiri. This one cover. No. Did I?
Tak habis cover, madam.
This one. This one you boleh baca sendiri lah ya. So basically what we need to do adalah the culture must come daripada top management lah. Macam top management dia kena create a good ethical value bila dia buat kerja lah ya. Kena ada proper reward system, kena be fair treatment kepada staff. Okay, kena ada open discussion. Open discussion ni macam one to one lah. Okay, you kena bagi ruang kepada your staff kalau dia rasa dia tak puas hati ataupun dia ada masalah whatsoever, okay. Kemudian kita kena sebagai company top management, kita kena emphasize kepada employees on employees accountability. Okay, kita kena remind them about their duties and responsibility. So kalau dia buat something wrong, so what other action can be taken lah, obligation that they need to face kalau dia tak follow, kalau dia tak fulfill dia punya responsibility ya. So organisation also need to focus kepada kena ada communication, proper communication between higher level and the lower. Possible you kena ada proper dia kena ada supporting office, for example like ethical policy, okay, officer, kemudian supporting structure, okay, kena ada telephone hotline, okay, whistleblower protection, code sign off, as well as kena ada training. So that staff faham the direction of the company dan kalau ada apa-apa masalah, dia know where to go lah, kat channel apa yang dia kena buat, okay. Kat sini I rasa I cakap kalau tadi yang di start. Okay, ethical dia ada dua ya, satu formal ethical program and another one adalah informal ethical program. Okay, the company they should establish a formal ethics code. Okay, kita kena ada ethics committee. Ethics committee ni dia fokus kepada developing policy, evaluate, investigation, dia akan buat investigation. Kalau staff tak follow the ethics requirement lah. So kena ada ethics communication system, kena ada ethics officer to ensure that all the staff follow semua benda ni. Okay, dan kena bagi training kepada staff. So bagi dia aware. Okay, kadang-kadang staff ni dia tak aware kan. Kadang-kadang you join company tu you tak tahu apa benda pun. That's the reasons why good company dia kena bagi proper training kepada staff dia lah. Okay, dan you kena juga explain lah kalau ada disciplinary action. So you need to explain kepada your staff what are the disciplinary action that company can be taken by company if they do not follow the code of ethics. Okay.
Okay, next topik kita akan tengok kepada Corporate Code of Conduct. Banyak lagi nak kena cover ya. Corporate Code of Conduct kat sini.
Saya terkeluar lagi. You ada kelas 2.5? Any one of you ada kelas 2.30?
Do you have class 2:30 class? Can you hear me in the first place? Group apa yang ada kelas 2.5? Group D memang ada kelas dengan I. Group L and H, do you have class 2:30? Group L. You all boleh dengar tak I cakap ni? Ke I yang tak dengar you all cakap? Can you hear me class? Aduh, internet problem lah. Kelas L tak ada dengar ya. Okay, I think sebab the internet ni macam keluar masuk. I nak tanya kalau hari Jumaat ni I buat kelas 2 jam, boleh manage tak? Sebab I nak habiskan tajuk ni. Can we make it macam 10:30, 12:30 boleh? All of you free 10:30, 12:30? Ke ada yang ada kelas? Please boleh masukkan dekat bagi kat komen kalau ada kelas. Ni internet baru okey. Kelas L ada test petang Jumaat tu. Okey. Hari apa lagi I boleh buat kelas dengan you all ya? Kalau you tak nak buat kelas hari Jumaat, kalau kita buat kelas petang ni sekejap boleh tak kelas? Pukul 5 hingga 6.30. Okey, boleh ya I sambung ya kelas ya. So kita tengok kepada Corporate Code of Conduct. Okey, boleh dengar ke? Could you please respond kat I? I pun tak sure. Can you hear me? Sorry, bila I dah
Yes,
share
madam.
ni, kalau you all tulis dekat, kalau you respond, I tak nampak ya kelas. I tak nampak you punya komen. Boleh dengar tak?
Boleh madam.
Yes or no?
I macam dia kejap-kejap keluar masuk. You all nak sambung lagi ke kelas ke nak stop dulu?
Do you want to pause it? Boleh ke nak pause it lagi ke? Hello. Nak pause it ke nak stop sekejap dulu? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, madam.